Okay. On the next page, let's put down algebraic equations with fractions. Now, you don't need to write this down, but let's do a quick review about how we solve algebraic equations. If we have a plus 7 is 24. What we want to do is we want to get the variable by itself. So we do the inverse operation. Right now we're adding 7 to a. So to solve this, we want to do what? Nadia?
We basically put these, like a minus 7 under the 7, and they just cancel each other out.
Okay, and?
You put that under and you put another one.
Okay, just like on a balance beam or a seesaw, if you take 7 pounds off of one side, you need to take 7 pounds off the other side to keep it balanced. Okay, so but we do the inverse operation. We have a equals, now 24 minus 7 would be 17. If we have r minus 9 equals 4. Okay, once again, now we have a subtraction equation. How do we solve subtraction equations? We're going to do what?
Adding 9 to 4 and...
We're going to add 9 to both sides. When we do that, there's 9's cancel, left is with r, and 4 plus 9 is 13. If we have 3p equals 15. Anytime you have a number beside a variable, that means it is multiplication. So how do we solve this equation? Parker?
We divide it.
Divide both sides by?
3.
Divide both sides by 3. They cancel, we're left with p, and we have 15 divided by 3, which would be 5, and so p is equal to 5. And then if we have r over 6 equals 5, this is a division equation because a fraction is another way to write a division problem. So this means r divided by 6 equals 5. So to solve it, we're going to do what?
Divide 6. Multiply 6 times...
We're going to multiply both sides times 6. Now that 6 is actually 6 over 1. Okay, now that's going to be what we're going to talk about today a little bit. These 6's cancel, left with r, and now we have 5 times 6, which is 30. And if you put 30 in place of the variable, 30 divided by 6 equals 5. Okay, so that's how we solve algebraic equations. Now, today we're going to be doing algebraic equations, but we're going to be doing them with fractions. So what we're going to have is, let's say z plus 2 1/5 equals 7 1/4. You can write this down. We're going to do the exact same thing. Okay? To get the variable by itself, we're going to do the inverse operation. So we're going to subtract 2 1/5 from both sides. Now, when we do that, these cancel. We're left with z equals. And now when we subtract, we need to get a common denominator. Common denominator is going to be 20. So we're going to 7 1/4 equals 7 and something over 20. 2 1/5 is 2 and something over 20. 5 times 4 is 20. Take the top times 4. 1 times 4 is 4. 4 times 5 is 20. Take the top times 5. And 1 times 5 is 5. And now I subtract them. 5 minus 4 is 1. the denominator stays 20, and 7 minus 2 is 5, and so z would be equal to 5 and 1/20. If we have a subtraction one, b minus 2 and 1/5 equals 4 and 2/3. Once again, we're going to do the inverse operation to get the variable by itself. Right now we're taking 2 and 1/5 away, so we need to add that 2 and 1/5 back to it. And whatever you do to one side, you're going to do the same thing to the other side. When we do it, they cancel, and we're left with b. Once again, when we add or subtract fractions, we need to get a common denominator. The common denominator is going to be what? 15. So 4 and 2/3 equals 4 and something over 15. 2 and 1/5 is 2 and something over 15. 5 times 3 is 15. Take the top times 3. 1 times 3 is 3. 3 times 5 is 15. Take the top times 5. 2 times 5 is 10. And now I add them up. 10 and 3 are 13 over 15. And 4 plus 2 is 6. And so b would be equal to 6 and 13, 15. Now here's where it's going to get a little bit different, I guess you could say. I'll do it over here so you can see it. We're going to have 2 and 1/5 r equals.
Please excuse the interruption, but the faculty meeting today will be held in Mr. Wagner's room. Thank you.
Okay. So we have 2 and 1/5 r equals 5 and 2/3. This is a multiplication equation. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to change this mixed number to an improper fraction. 2 times 5 is 10, plus 1 is 11 over 5r equals, I'm going to go ahead and change this to an improper fraction as well. 5 times 3 is 15, plus 2 is 17 over 3. Now, to get rid of this improper fraction, all we're going to do is we're going to take it times its reciprocal. 5 over 11. And then we're going to take the other side also by that reciprocal, 5 over 11. The reason we take it 5 times the reciprocal is because now these 5's cancels and those 11's cancel. And so now we have r equals, now we look to see if there's anything we can reduce. There isn't, so we multiply the top times the top. That would be 85. The bottom times the bottom is 33. And now we'd want to get rid of the improper fraction by dividing the top by the bottom. 33 is going to go into 85 2 times. That's 66. Subtract. Gives you 19. And that 19 becomes your numerator. Denominator is 33. And so r is equal to 2 and 19 over 33. Okay? And this is why you see a little bit of an example of why I say to you guys, it's great that you can do problems in your head. But as we move farther and farther along, it's obvious you're not going to be able to do these in your head. And so that's why I stress to you, as much as you want to do things in your head, you've got to follow the process. Because right now we're moving along so that when you guys get into 7th grade, you know how to do the basics, so in 7th grade you can take the next step up. Okay? Any questions? Okay, let's get out your boards.